Hi, my name's Chris, and in this video I'm going to talk you through how to carry out a content audit for your website. The purpose of a content audit is to get a better understanding of how the content on your website performs. Once you've got an idea of this, you can use that information in all sorts of ways to work out what you should be publishing more of, what you should be publishing less of, what kinds of things your audience engages with, and where there are opportunities for improving that content. The process of putting a content audit together involves creating a massive spreadsheet of all of the posts that you've published on your website, and then adding to that list information from analytics and social media. What we can then do is we can use that information to pull out insights into how your website is performing and which of those types of posts are doing better than others. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the process of doing a content audit on a website. So the website we're using as an example today is createdinbirmingham.com. This website's been going for about 9 years and has over 3,000 posts on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a list of those posts and find out which ones are performing well and which ones aren't. So the first thing we need to do is we need a list of all these posts. The really boring, slow manual way would be to copy every post into a spreadsheet. Luckily, there are tools that will do this for us. So one of the ones that I would recommend is called Screaming Frog. And Screaming Frog looks like this. A bit confusing to start with, but all you need to know is that at the top, you need to paste your URL and click the Start button. And what this does is this acts like a search engine. It will go to the URL, it will pull lots of information about that page, and then it will follow any links that it finds. And it will do the same on those pages as well. So this takes a short while, depending on the size of your site, to trawl through and find everything that it can. If we have a quick look across this as it's doing it, we can see that the first URL it found was createdinbirmingham.com, and it adds some additional information next to these: the title, the length of the title, which is relevant because we don't want that to be too long because it gets cut off by search engines in search results, the meta description and the length of the meta description, and lots of other information that's nice to have but may or may not be useful later on. Also has the word count, which we will be making use of later. This crawl takes a little while to do. We can see in the bottom right hand corner how many pages it's found so far. And up here, there is a percentage that tells us how far through the process it thinks that it's gone. The free version of Screaming Frog will crawl up to 500 pages. There is a small fee for the professional version, which will get you the full thing. 500 pages should be enough to get you started on a content audit though. Once that's completed, we need to download this information. So Screaming Frog will pick up on the pages of your website, but it will also pick up on some images and some CSS files and things like that. We're not too interested in that stuff. So if we click Filter and HTML, then this will isolate just the web pages and we'll export that. What we then want to do is go to a spreadsheet. I'm using Google Sheets for this. And what we'll do is we'll import the information into there. So when the information that you've exported from Screaming Frog is imported into Google Sheets, this is what it looks like. I've removed a few of the columns, so we've just got the essentials here. So this is the starting point for our content audit. We've got a big list of links. What we want to now do is add additional information to this. So the first place that we're going to go is to a service called sharedcount.com. And what this is going to do is this is going to give us the number of times each of these URLs have been shared. This is what shared count looks like. You can add a single URL to this and it will give you stats about that. If you log in, it allows you to do 1,000 of these lookups per day, which is plenty for our purposes. Once you've logged in for a free account, if you go to URL dashboard and click on bulk upload, and we'll go back to our spreadsheet and let's copy the list of URLs, and we go to sharedcount.com, click on bulk upload, paste the URLs in and click on the import URLs button, and you'll see that that goes through all the URLs and tells you how many times each one has been shared or liked on Facebook, how many times it's been tweeted. It's also got information for Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn and StumbleUpon. That runs very quickly, and if we scroll down to the bottom there is an option to export to CSV. Click on that, and then we want to go back to our spreadsheet and import the information into there. So now we've uploaded the information from shared count into Google Sheets, we can combine that information. So the quick and easy way of doing this is making sure that the list of URLs in both are sorted in the same way. So if we sort both of those A to Z, then we can just copy this information straight across and it will all match up nicely. So copy and paste. If we grab the headers as well. Now what we've got is for each URL we've got information about the title, the meta description and the lengths of those. We've also got the word count so we can see how short and long form content performs against each other. We've got information about social shares as well. So for instance, we can now sort this spreadsheet by Facebook likes, and we can see the types of content that are more likely to be shared on Facebook. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we can see the types of content that aren't so likely to be shared. The final part of this is to add information from Google Analytics. The way to do that is to log into your analytics. On the left-hand side, if we go to Behavior, Site Content and All Pages, and then what we want to do here is we want to pick a time frame that's reasonably long. Doesn't matter how long, but I usually go for. I usually want to look over the past year of content. So if we add that in the date box, click Apply. This will show all the pages that have had some hits in the past 12 months. We want to show maximum number of rows that we can. We've got 2,300 here. And then we want to export this information. So we export that to CSV. Then when that's done, we'll create a new spreadsheet and we'll import that. So now we've imported information from Google Analytics. The process of adding this to the first spreadsheet is a little bit complicated and involved. There's full instructions on how to do this on the Nesta website. Now that we've got all of our information in one place, we can start to make use of that information and pull out some insights that we can use. The first thing that we can look at is the title and meta description that we picked up from Screaming Frog. So in columns B and D, you'll see that information. If there's anything missing, then they'll show up as blank cells, or you may well find that some of the meta descriptions are duplicates of others, that you've just got some generic text in there. You want to avoid that, and so what you'll need to do if you see that is to go into your posts and update that information with something specific, so that your posts stand a better chance of performing well in search engines. The next thing we could do is have a look at some of the information from Google Analytics. So we've got here page views. If we were to sort by this column, then we'd be able to see the posts that have had some traffic in over the past year. You'll see some cells where it has NA. That's because Screaming Frog has found a post and it exists, but the chances are nobody's actually visited that page in the last year. You might start wondering whether it's worth having that post on your website anymore, or whether you could delete it. Another useful one to look at is the average time on page. If we were to sort by this column, we'd be able to see the types of posts that cause people to linger for a longer time, and those where people tend to spend very short periods of time. Thirdly, we could have a look at social shares. If we were to search by these columns, we'd be able to have a look at the types of content that your readers are keen to share with each other on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. That will show you the types of content that people like to share across different platforms. You start to get the idea of the kinds of things that you can do with this information. There's lots more that you can add, there's lots more analysis that you can do. There will be some examples of this on the Nesta website, and this spreadsheet is going to be shared with you so that you can use it as a template.